But I think that with SteelToe, so the big controversy is that he's admitted to a sexual thing, or at least there's evidence of him admitting to that. It's like, right, okay, that's maybe not exactly my Google search, but Nick Rekida's kids had fucking cocaine in their hair. I'm okay with people being swingers or being bisexual. I'm not okay with kids wasting precious drugs. We could have done that, guys. And got all
Wait till
fucked
they're
up.
adults, man. Come on.
They're greedy. You know what? I wish Ike Turner was there when those fucking kids turned up with all that stolen drugs. I'm just saying. But what do you think, Tom? Are you going to double down going after SteelToe with this compact information, or may you play with your penis instead?
I mean, I could do both,
Oh.
I mean, listen, I'm very like I said, I'm very nuanced. I can do like one, I'm not absolute one thing or the other. But no, my going after SteelToe was just as a result of, okay, let me see if I can do this. Let me go ahead and try and throw this rock at something and see if it's a hornet's nest. And that's pretty much been my MO these many years. So I went ahead and trolled him with a super chat. And then he got flustered, got thrown off. And then like, the following couple of episodes, he devoted at least like roughly 20 minutes of each episode, because I counted them up and played them on my live stream, dedicated to me and talking about me. And like, for some reason, whenever like SteelToe went after me and trashed me like that, like it's just so easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel watching it, man. It's enjoyable. So if I do go back to live streaming, just because I have like other stuff I'm doing now, so I don't have the time for that. But if I do go back, I mean, he'll definitely be a target, just because like we're on at the same time. So I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and try this. Let's throw this shit against the wall, see if it sticks.
How do you handle, Tom, when people come after you? Because they come after you for a lot of the same things you're talking about, or a lot of the same style that you went after SteelToe. How do you handle it when it comes at you?
I mean, I was trained by the Maryland public school system, so like it's just a water off a duck's back for me, and sometimes, and
would you say that's what you give off, that it's water off a duck's back?
But most of the times, I'll go ahead and do that. Like I'll go ahead and strike back. If I feel that if it's worth my time, and
does it hurt you personally? Serious question. Like, does it actually hurt you, or is it a case by case basis, or what?
No,
it doesn't hurt you.
No, it doesn't. Like I said, the toughest room I ever worked was the men's locker room at Falston High School in Falston, Maryland. Go Cougars. And so I basically just I picked up my comedy chops, just deflecting bullies and jocks and upperclassmen, to the point where like I was like the only freshman they would allow to hang out with them and like goof off and fuck around during gym class. So
so you were included. You weren't bullied. You were like one of the guys.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like I would socialize with the jocks during gym class. At lunch, I would socialize with the D&D kids. Like I never assigned myself with any one particular clique. And then when I wasn't hanging out with anybody, I would just do my own thing anyway.
You learned how to be take insults and not be offended because you were bullied so much. But at the same time, you were also accepted by all of the groups and all of the cliques, and were like the one person who could socially just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, man, I could be a social chameleon when I want to be.
But also while being bullied so much that you can take any kind of insults that come your way because you've been trained on the streets of Baltimore in that specific bathroom.
Balmer, hon, lose the T.
Which one is it? Were you bullied or were you a hero as a kid? Which one was it?
I mean, it started off being one, and then eventually I worked my way up to the ladder. Okay. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
No, that would be, then you can empathize with both sides. That makes sense.
Did you
I ask
hang
Adam
around
a
with?
question, Hughezy.
Huh?
Sorry.
Can I ask Adam a relevant question, please, Hughezy?
Yeah, but I was going to accuse Tom of being a racist first, but
Oh, let him do that. Let him do.
That's
Shh.
fine.
Go
No,
ahead.
yeah. Just go.
I mean,
Hey,
I am a white guy in a country that voted nearly 60% for Donald Trump, so it's a rational assumption to make.
the actor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, go ahead, Ekul.
Thank you so much. So, Adam, we were talking about Tom and him being bullied some. Out of interest, you've been on WATP quite a while now. Have you done any of the episodes that have reviewed Tom? Do you know? I know he does it every so often. I'm just
I'm
unsure.
sure
if
I
it's been
have.
that recent.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah. So,
Well-
Tom, there you go. You're getting on very well with someone who's maybe had a few jokes at your expense right now. So, yeah, I guess you can hang with everyone. So that's good, Tom. Well done.
Right, but the whole point of WATP, which is another topic we'll bring up just as we're wrapping up, is that it's a roast show. It's not like a target and a bully show. But
Perspective, yeah.
just as we're
I like
feeling,
it, but perspective.
just as we're finishing up the SteelToe segment, Tom dropped the N-word in the private chat. So this was a comment that Chris Abels left. He said it wasn't right what happened to you in the casting chairs, Adam, but two wrongs don't make a right. Stop talking about it.
Okay.
I don't understand why Chris is doing. If that's even the real Chris, because I've met him.
Or
And,
Vince Storia, maybe.
Yeah, it could be a skip my chat. Hughezy is soft. Soft. And this is the thing. I've also
He's not soft. He's inebriated. Get it right.
That's accurate.
True. And I haven't had an erection in 7 years.
Wow.
Jacob Ryan asked for thanks for the $2. Adam, why do you? I can heat. This is surfer talk. Adam, why do you take yourself so seriously? Chill, brah.
Unfortunately, Jacob is 100% right.
Chill, brah is the thing that I'm selling to women so they can all have erect nipples for their IG photographs. And this is Adam is going to trash you tomorrow on WATP, his MO. I don't think
Bring it, fucker. Bring it.
I'm reminded now, I know for a fact that I made fun of that you can't get your green screen right because I was looking at the green on your head right now and I was reminded that, you got to dial that in.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've tried like multiple times. Like I've tried fixing settings, and but I figure better a green hue than a wood paneling. So I'm like, I have that going for me.
No, you should fix it. Definitely, you could definitely fix it.
And here's a question.
Oh
fuck's sake! Wouldn't let me change the title. Hey Tom, ever done a Sunday matinee for old folks? That's from Dan from Nice Podcast. Stupid.
If by Sunday matinee you mean a championship youth baseball game at which I'm a public address announcer, then the answer is yes. And I have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, so take that, Dan. By the way, Adam, how is Josh Whedon?
Right now?
Great.
Josh!
Eventually.
Josh! Yeah, I got him in the trunk. He's good.
Excellent. I liked Avengers, and that's all I liked.
He's a very talented person. But you do bring up a point that on all these shows I've been doing, it's been kind of an experiment, jumping on everyone's shows in the Dabbleverse instead of just reviewing them or taking Carl's word for it or the clips that he pulled. I'm coming to speak to everyone individually and see what I think, so people can't say that I'm influenced. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've said to every one of these shows that I've been on, look at my IMDb, look at the people I've worked with. Maybe, just maybe, my experience has given me some just history, not even credibility, just some information, some experience with these awful topics. So what the fake Chris Abels is saying about me and the casting couch and all those things, it's like, yeah, the shit that you're speculating on, I have experienced. I've had to work for corporations and actors and directors and people that were monsters. We found out afterwards. We find out during. And when I hear fucking people telling people like me and everyone else how you're supposed to handle this and what we did wrong and what the correct way of processing this kind of stuff is, it does make me angry in a way that's unnecessary, and I should just chill, brah. But they don't do it. They don't look at until I'm on the screen with them. They won't do any research. They won't look at it. And it'd be like, if I had to deal with Kevin Spacey for decades, maybe I can just weigh in on this topic and you can listen for a second.
The actor?
Yes.
See, I was a extra on House of Cards because they filmed part of it, like literally like 10
Were you
minutes
really?
from my house. I played a congressman in one episode, and people
a gay
were
congressman?
and people were. But after all this stuff about Kevin Spacey came out, people said, "Tom, did you notice Kevin Spacey doing anything weird on set? Did you notice any of that?" And I said, "I'll be honest, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention because I was too busy getting a hand job from the guy who played Doug Stamper."
Doug Stamper? Is he Scottish? What's up with that, by the way? Because Justice for Kevin Spacey by Little Emmy, who notorious. I've noticed that, Tom. When you tell a joke, your voice goes up at the end. Like
right.
Sometimes it feels like you're being racist towards me. Where you go,
no, I'll tell you what.
Stamper?
People have mentioned that I do have sort of like an Irish inflection, and I haven't actually told this. I don't think I've mentioned this on any live stream, so I'll go ahead and give you the exclusive. My great-great-grandparents emigrated here from Ireland, and reportedly they had like a very thick Irish accent. And so my this is on my father's side of the family. My father was raised by my grandfather because like his mom died during childbirth. So probably like my great-great-grandparents gave it to my great-grandfather, that inflection, who probably gave it to my dad. And so I probably got it from him. If it's there, that's the likely source. What's the deal with inflections?
What's the deal with childbirth?
Who decided to talk like this?
On the final topic, of course, it was kind of mentioned earlier on, is of course the great WATP. Because one of the things, Tom, because I've noticed you mentioned, I think it was on your IG page where you said you were trying to get your watch time up and your watch hours up and stuff. I genuinely think, and this is speaking from experience, that if you went on WATP with Lady K, which is the hilarious nickname Carl has, I genuinely think that would, within, say, 48 hours, bring those people over to your show, and you would instantly get the watch time that you would need. Because so if Carl goes live, he usually gets a minimum of 1,000 people. If you just stream for an hour, with 60, what does that work? That works out as 60,000 minutes viewed or whatever the fuck.
Are you following this, Tom? I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah. I kind of get what he's asking. First off, like podcast. Podcast Karen, as I refer to him, and I have him on record saying.
What is that a reference to, Podcast Karen? What is that? You were saying that for a long time. I didn't realize you meant Carl. Hilarious, but what does it mean?
It means it's fucking hilarious.
Duh.
Because he's
basically a Karen who does nothing but really complain about every single show. And I get that it's a roast show, but I don't mean to talk. I apologize if it sounds like I'm speaking ill of your boy here.
Go ahead, please.
But he's very whiny and bitchy, and like the idea of WATP was probably it's a good concept
until it came to you.
Start off a good concept,
and then it loses. I know.
Well, and then and then old podcast Karen started kissing up to Anthony Cumia, and it basically turned into like a ripoff of Opie and Anthony, which itself is a low grade version.
Well, it was a ripoff of Anthony by design. Like it was even before Cumia was involved. That was the Jocktober concept, which you approve of. And as we stated, you enjoy it, except when it comes to you, and then it's just not funny anymore.
If
No,
could
I mean,
just
listen, I mean, but here's
It's
the
the ice, Kumia.
if I do go ahead and clap back, which is my job because I'm a comedian, that's what
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to do. Then it becomes like, oh, how could he do that? So what you're accusing me of, they actually do. But anyway, podcast Karen has said he does not want me on his show. I'm not invited on his show. So fuck
well,
him.
if you want to, do you want to be on the show?
Fuck
because
no.
All right. So then it's not Carl keeping you from it. Carl has disinvited me from this thing I don't want to go to.
So first off, that would never. I'm just saying, like that would never.
Why would a comedian not want to go against his nemesis? Why would you? I mean, you talk about wanting eyes and streams and views. Like this is it, Tom. You don't get to pick your audience. Bob Marley died hating his audience because he wanted his audience to look like him. But white people loved him. He started playing places they couldn't find him. You don't get to pick your audience.
That's probably
this is your audience. This is it. It's these people. We know who you are. We support you. We would spend money on it, but it takes getting past the ego and just leaning into it.
Tom, can I suggest something?
Go ahead.
So Hughezy, for fuck's sake, sorry, I want to say more than 5 words in this show, if that's all right. Hughezy suggested something earlier. No, I love it.
Tom and I are the most verbose guys in the whole Dabbleverse. It's a bad combo.
So Hughezy made a bad suggestion earlier. He said, why don't you just go on his show and then all of the fans later will go and watch your show? Incorrect. Yeah. Why don't you do something which the ingenious Stuttering John did, which was have one episode on his channel, one episode on Carl's channel, and why don't you have him on yours first? So people don't go, no, it's fine. We saw him on the first episode. We don't need to see the second one. There you go.
Yeah, look how well it worked out for Stuttering John. Stuttering who?
The actor?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the only episodes that I remotely liked him was when Carl left and the sun was setting on him and it's getting darker and darker.
Well, any episode.
I know you're only.
And any episode that podcast Karen leaves and fucks off, it automatically makes it like 1,000 times better.
But
so I agree with you on that one, Ekul.
Yeah, I'm gonna say though, the podcast Karen sold me a ticket because the clips he played of Stuttering John's stand-up was so unfunny that if I ever got the chance to see him, I'm going to see that stand-up live because it's like Jason Statham when he has a new film out. It's called The Sandwich Maker, and it's like, what are you doing with my fucking sandwich? And then he karate kicks a guy in the trailer, and you go, yeah, I'm going to see that. That looks like a big pile of shit. It's going to be brilliant. I genuinely think, Tom, that you taking Ekul's idea, which I will now claim as my own via editing once the podcast version comes out of this, that I think that you should have Carl on your show in a early evening time slot, and you will literally visibly see your subscription count go up, and you will be able to monetize, you'll be able to profit. And all joking aside, Tom, it's always funny, and I think Adam would agree, it's always funny to do the whole, oh, Tom Myers isn't funny stuff, all that shit. You actually are funny. It's just it's a running joke that people have piled on too much, like the SteelToe stuff. I think that you having Carl on would shut that down. Maybe you could roast Carl. He wouldn't be able to handle it, which could then go viral. And we're talking Tom Myers mania. You could tell your racist jokes all around the world.
I would love to tell jokes about how white people suck. Yes, YouTube's terms of service. But no,
you're right. He's funny, but it's not in the way that he knows. He doesn't know when he's being funny, and that can make you feel a bit exposed or vulnerable.
Adam, I have to correct. I have to seriously clap back on this.
Please.
I mean, yes, I do. I do know when I'm being funny because, like, contrary to popular belief and what you hear in the chat and on Reddit, I've been doing this for a long time. Have I been doing a lot of stand-up recently? No, because I've had some personal stuff on the home front. I've been taking care of the last year or so. I won't
Don't
get into
laugh,
that.
Ekul.
That's kind of winding down. So I'm looking to get back out and get started again. But I'm following a formula that has worked before, where I had previous detractors on another podcast, and instead of buckling to them, instead of kneeling to them, I went ahead and went after them. I sort of like leaned into some of their fan base, and as a result, some of the fan base who used to shit on me ended up becoming legit fans.
Great. So everything they said, yeah.
They've ended up like streaming my content.
So why wouldn't you do that with Carl? That's great.
They've ended up coming to see me. I mean, I'm doing that now. I'm doing that now, and I didn't have to go on this other podcast show. I didn't have to go on. I didn't have to go on this show.
But what's the negative about going on? What's the downside?
I didn't have to embrace. Well, the downside is what I did worked before, so it's good. It's going to work again.
Not knowing exactly why or how you're funny is not a diss, and it's not a weakness. It's a thing a lot of great comedians have. I know I'm not a particularly funny person, but sometimes if I have a script that's funny, if they're laughing and I don't know why, it's fine. It means the line worked, the reading worked. I don't have to necessarily be in on it. For me, for you, I love the posture. I love the kind of tension. I love the delivery. We're talking about the getting high at the end. Like, it's classic to slow down the punchline and go low, but you go fast and go high. And I laugh at all of that. I laugh at your reactions. I laugh at there's a part of you that's not present while you're telling the joke. You're watching the audience. You're there. It's kind of happening. There's an interesting body language, and I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that.
Well, whenever I'm awake, my brain does like 12 different things. So like I'm always processing stuff. So
what about who are these broadcasters? Would you go on there with Blatt?
Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll direct you to my contact person. I'll direct you to my agent.
Tom, were you
who does exist by the way?
Were you a fan of the TV show Mad Men?
Who are we asking?
Christian. Sorry, Tom.
Never seen it. Sorry.
Oh, well, Christian's wife wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And also, she's a hot fucking chick with big tits, and I don't mean that in the vulgar way. He'll take that out of context.
Will the doxing ever stop, Hughezy?
No. Also, did you know that...
what's wrong with big tits? Nothing.
I like a fart box.